Hello, I'm Chip Jones, and welcome back to our home here in Okarga Farms in Northeast Oklahoma. And as you can tell, we're still finishing up trying to get ready for Christmas. Christmas has come along so fast. It seems like this year has just been flying by. We've had several new projects we've been working on at work, and we've been trying to get our Christmas all together here at the house. And Bitsy and I have taken the last couple of days and kind of stuck around and finally gotten things together. But I want to walk you through and show you a few updates. We put in a few new trees and shrubs around the property. Also just got a fun new statue for the courtyard garden, so I want to take you and show you that. And then also just do some gathering and foraging here around the property. We're going to come back up to the front door, finish getting this all together, and hopefully we can get it before that sun begins to set. It's already getting late in the afternoon, so we're going to get started real quick, take you on a tour, and then, like I said, we'll get back up here and put it all together. So Bitsy, if you'll come along, I've got some suet that I'm going to put on this new statue that I got, and we'll get things started. So come along. Come on, girl. So there is one thing I want to show you as we head over here to the courtyard garden. I want you to notice we finally got the missing tree put into the garden. As we've been shooting throughout the spring and summer, you know, I was missing a dead blue Atlas cedar that we had taken out. We had one over on the other side that has kind of looked lopsided all season long, but we finally got in these Alaskan cedars. We decided to switch it up just a little bit. We grow these Alaskan cedars out at the garden center, out in our display beds, and they have done so well. They can get up to 40 feet tall once they get fully mature. But they are a little slower growing for us here, but they take the wind and the drought really, really well. So we decided to try something different. I love the weepy character of this tree, and I think it's going to make a great focal point here at the corner of the house. Again, we had to take down that big blue Atlas, which I just absolutely hated. But the one thing we did do is we saved the greenery for the Christmas decor. And I'll be sure to show you close up just how beautiful some of those branches were with the little cones. So we did actually get to use it one more time before we got rid of it. So that made me feel not quite so bad. And because I was already missing my blue Atlas cedars, just this morning we actually went ahead and put in 3 new blue Atlas just here to the corner of the courtyard. You know, this is going to be a new garden. We'll actually be covering up the sod and taking some of the sod out to use around the pond, but this is all going to be a new garden in the spring. These have just gone in, as I mentioned, and these are going to kind of anchor the back of this bed. We're going to have a couple of walkways that are going to come through. We're going to try to put flagstone down and then filling it in with smaller shrubs and even some grasses. I really want to bring kind of a natural feel back to this side of the garden. This will be an outside the courtyard garden, which will go along the fence, join up with the butterfly garden in the back. But I want it to be a little bit more of a natural feel. We're going to put in a few boulders, I think. But again, once I get one garden finished, I'm always excited to start a new garden, and I think this one's going to be a really neat one to have this spring. Of course, we're going to focus on putting some of those orange glow knockout roses over on the other side because those have done so well in the back. So I love having kind of blues, purples, and then accents of kind of coral peachy colors, and I think those are going to work really well in this area. So as you can tell, we still have a lot of work to go to start getting this bed in place. We'll start bringing in that landscape and grow mix, also bringing in that alpaca poop that we love to bring up from the farm. We love being able to recycle and use that for the garden. So that's something we'll be working on. All right, so if you'll come on along with me, we're going to go and put this in the new statue that I've got, and I want to show you how the courtyard garden is looking. So come on along. So we've been working to get the courtyard pulled together and looking all nice and neat again, because we see it every day from the primary bathroom as we're getting ready in the mornings, and it is so fun to see all the birds jumping around. This is certainly where we have a couple of feeders back over here, and that's why I wanted to have another little area that we had some suet, and we have a bird bath that's close by. Again, it's just kind of a neat little area with the small trees to watch the birds throughout the winter. So I certainly want to come over here and get this all set up for the birds. And this is a statue that I have wanted for a long time. It's one that's been around and out there. This is the bird girl that was featured on the cover of the book Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, and it became so popular. I had seen kind of a shorter statue like this, but I was wanting something kind of tall, something that had a little bit more presence. And at the garden center, we finally got a brochure that had just this size and kind of this bronzy color, and I thought it would work really well here in the courtyard garden. And again, I love adding statues or unique garden elements into the landscape just to create some interest. And we really didn't have anything on this side. We had the feeders on this side, so I think this will be a great focal point as you're coming up through the garden path, and certainly one now that I'm going to look to see if the birds actually go to this suet that we've put out here for them. Again, just a great garden here right off the master bathroom, and I think it's going to be one that we're going to really enjoy as it grows and matures every year, seeing it come to life. So I've got one more update I want to show you before we head down to start collecting some of those berries and branches to add to the front wreath. So if you'll come along this way, we're going to step back by the potting shed and give you an update. So here we are at the ongoing project of the update of the potting shed, and we do finally have our doors in. They actually had to kind of be rebuilt. They had a lot of termite damage actually on the inside at the back, and our contractor Sam did a wonderful job. He really had to spend a lot of time taking away some of that damaged wood and putting in new wood on the back side. Of course, I was telling them to try to keep as much of this original finish on the front as he could. So we've worked to kind of age it. We're going to be painting it, but I do want to leave a lot of this rough natural paint that was already on here. I mean, it's part of the age, certainly, and I don't want to get rid of a lot of that feel, but we are going to be adding an accent color to this building. You know, all of our other structures have been white and brown. The main part of this structure is going to be brown, but we're going to go with a unique color for the doors and the windows, and we're still working on that, but I think it's really going to be a nice way to add maybe a punch of color here to the front of the potting shed. Of course, we have that antique element that we're going to be expanding a little bit so that it fits above the door, that we're going to put a roof, a little mini porch here at the front, and then we're going to have a couple of unique antique planters that I have found that are actually going to go on each side. So again, another great project coming up in 2025. We're going to be putting in the rest of the garden here around the potting shed. So it's going to be one that I hope that you will really look forward to. We really have been thinking about this for quite a while. Again, this structure was actually here when we bought the property 8 years ago. We used it as a dog house, a chicken house, and then storage, and it is finally time to see it come to life. So I just wanted to give you an update before we went on down to the pasture, and hopefully we're going to actually see it come to life here in 2025. So be sure to look back in the future for an updated video. So now I'm going to get my favorite wagon. We're going to go out and forage and get some greens, and then try to get back up to the front and get this wreath and the front of the house all finished before the sun goes down. So let's go. Oh my gosh. I want y'all to look at Bitsy. This is why I can't get anything done. She just had a bath this morning, and I look at her. Look at this face. She has been over behind the potting shed digging in the dirt. So at least she's been having a good time, but I sure enjoy having Bitsy help me get things ready. Just don't like when she gets in the mud so much, but always fun having her around. All right, let's get on down here and get these berries and get that wreath finished. All right, here we go. I want you to just look at this beautiful Nandina this year. This is the typical old-fashioned variety, the Nandina Domestica. And the berries this year are beautiful. I don't know if you can remember last year when we did the filming down here. The berries were okay, but they are, I think we at least have 2 to 3 times more berries this year. And they are just so beautifully red. Sometimes also they kind of hold an orange color for a little long for me, but I think they're going to be absolutely beautiful up at the front of the house. You know, I always love planting things that you can harvest during different times of the year to help decorate around the house, and certainly Nandina is wonderful to have if you like using traditional colors at Christmas time. So look for these at your local garden center. Again, this is Nandina Domestica, kind of the old-fashioned variety that's been around for a long time, and it's certainly one that I would recommend for almost any zone. I've seen these planted all over the country in different zones, so I think they do quite well in many places. So I'm going to quickly gather some of these, then we're going to head down to the magnolias and then get back up to the house. Come on, Bitsy. Come on. All right, Bitsy, we finally made it down here to the Magnolia. So we've come down to the entrance gate to one of my favorite trees here on the property. This is the Southern Magnolia. This is the D.D. Blanchard variety. These trees get absolutely massive. Not a tree that you find here in Oklahoma typically, but it's one that I certainly love from being back home in Georgia. I loved having large magnolias around and used them for years and years at Christmas time. Of course, love the blooms in the spring. Big, white, beautiful, fragrant blooms. Just, you know, another great evergreen tree. One that really drinks a lot of water. One thing that I found out about once moving to Oklahoma, because we don't have as much natural rainwater as we did back in Georgia. So I've had to supplement these with quite a bit of water to keep them happy. But once I kind of learned what they were looking for, what they were missing, they certainly leafed out and have done just great. These have probably been here probably put in after we'd been here 1 year, so 7 years, and they have grown to be just massive, massive trees. So this is the final element I think we need to add to our Christmas decor. So I'm going to run around real quick, cut some foliage, and then we're going to head back up to the house. All right, I got the bow made, not the best bow I've ever made, but we're going to go with it. And now I'm going to start adding in those Nandina berries, and we're really going to watch how the color now is really going to pop on this wreath. I'm always looking for something unusual to use to add a little bit of color, but this year certainly I think those Nandina berries, they were just absolutely so beautiful. I certainly wanted to use these. So we're going to pop these in real quick, and you're going to see it really transform and come to life with these beautiful red berries. Now I'm going to come in with just a couple more fun elements to add. We have these really fun skis out at the garden center that we use on trees. So I thought one of these might be kind of neat. I used these actually on the greenery that went around the trellis. and as you come in here to the front door. So I'm going to add one of these to the wreath. I think those are kind of fun. Now I have just a couple more things. We're going to try to wrap it up real quick, and then I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough and tell you what all we've done. So I want to show these to you real quick. These are the flower from sumac. I got these actually out in the pasture when we were out foraging some of the pine and some of the larger greenery. These were absolutely beautiful, and they have kind of a neat reddish tone. Something natural and unique to the arrangements. They kind of look like a little, I don't know, almost like a puff of fire or something. So I've just added them to the wreath, and now I'm going to start working on these urns and add some of the same elements that we've added up top down to the urns below. All right, here are some of the final elements, and these are some of the most exciting ones I think this year. These were oversized ornaments that were made out of grapevine, just in a natural color. And I actually spray painted them all red. They really didn't show up very well. I was doing kind of a trial earlier today, and I thought what I was missing was more red. So ran to the store, got red spray paint, sprayed them all down. So now we're gonna add these large elements that's really gonna add a lot more color and some kind of neat graphic to the design. So I'm gonna run around real quick and get all these put in. All right, Bitsy, we're about to finish it up here. All right, the sun is going down really fast. It's about 4:45 now in the afternoon. It's been a great day. It's been a little cool, but at least it hasn't been so windy. We've gotten a lot finished up, and I want to walk you through and show you some of the elements that I've added this year. And I'm going to start, first of all, to see if you notice that I don't have those typical obelisks that I typically have in the planters. We actually took those out, and I added these globe spruce for the Christmas season. This is a spruce topiary which has been grafted onto a standard stalk. It is one of our more popular wintertime plants out at the garden center. We get these in all different sizes, but I like, this is really our medium size that I put in here. I wanted something different, and we always have the trellises. And one thing I took them out is because I've been looking at what I'm going to do to replace these containers. They have begun to rust pretty bad, and so I am going to switch them out for something else. I'm still going to look for something square, but finding just the right thing has been a little hard. Anyway, I put this in for the winter time, and then of course we added in mixed greenery. We had pine. We also added incense cedar, of course the magnolia from down at the gate, and then also that blue Atlas cedar, that tree that we hated so much to see go, but we certainly were happy that we saved the greenery and was able to use it here in the arrangements here at Christmas. And also some juniper with these beautiful blue berries. Just a great mix of evergreens this time of year. And then also I added some of these sumac blooms as well. Again, just another great addition, kind of a reddish color in there, a natural element. And of course, once we get ready to clean all these out, these will all go away to the composter. We won't be throwing any of this away. So that's another great thing about using all natural greens. Probably just make a big pile in the back, let it kind of naturally fade away. The birds love getting in and out of the greenery. They've already been flying in and out of the spruce. So again, just another thing to keep in mind to keep things out of the landfill, just using natural greens. And instead of having to load up a bunch of fake greenery to put up in the attic or discard anything to the landfill, it's great just to have natural greens that we can just put in the back and let them kind of wither away naturally. Again, these great grapevine ornaments, a little bit you can see kind of the natural color down here where I didn't get that quite covered with the paint. But again, I think the red just really brings these planters to life. And of course, getting something that's oversized, that really stands out. We only needed 3, and they made a great statement there in these containers. Let's move on back. I want to show you some of the things that we did around the arbor here at the front door. Of course, a lot of mixed greens. We had these rustic bells that we added. We've had those for several years. Added some great mossy birdhouses. I love adding so many natural feeling elements since we're out in the country, living on a farm. I like using things that aren't quite so glitzy and shiny for sure. And then around the greenery, we added red velvet, lime green velvet, and then this great burlap with these chocolate brown bells. Again, kind of repeating the motif of the decorative bells that we've used around in a ribbon. Again, something we've had for years. I just roll it up and kind of switch things out every so many years so that it looks different, and then adding new elements in there. Of course, the moss birdhouses this year are new. Also, the grapevine ornaments are new as well. I think this turned out really great. I love the mix of the Blue Atlas cedar. Really brings out that frosty kind of look from all of the other greens up and around. And I have just one more element that I want to add. These are some fun bells that are on these picks. I'm just going to add some of these into the wreath and the urns here around the front door real quick and get it all finished up. All right, I had to run find Bitsy real quick, and I love just adding just that little bit of a gold sparkle with the bells. I think just a couple little touches actually turned out really well. Again, something not too shiny, a little bit rustic. But before we go, I have a special surprise for you. I've had so many people that have been asking to come inside the house. I put it off though because I've really just been wanting to focus on the gardens, but I am going to bring you inside. I'm going to show you our Christmas tree and show you a little bit around our living room. So come on in, we'll go on in since the sun's getting ready to go down. So many of you have asked to come inside the house, and so I wanted to give you a little peek here at Christmas time. Bitsy and I, we worked really hard to get this room together, and as you can see, the focal point of this living room is our Christmas tree. When Brian and I first met each other, we found out that we both collected Christopher Radko ornaments. As you can tell, we have a pretty big collection. This isn't even all of them. We have several tubs that we still have a lot of ornaments in, but we love to get them out this time of year. I always wanted a tree just covered in Christmas ornaments, and I love all different colors. We do white lights on our tree, but certainly just do all kinds of different colors. And a fun fact is this last year, we actually got to meet Christopher Radko, and what an honor it was to finally kind of be someone that we idolize in a way and certainly love following him. And we've actually got some of his ornaments from his new collection, Heartfully Yours, on here. But, you know, some of my favorites are some that go way back from when I first started collecting. This is the 2 turtle doves from the 12 Days of Christmas series, and one that I've had for years. But there's so many special ornaments that brings us back to a lot of memories through the years, and certainly one that we continue to grow and add to each and every year. So again, a great time to show off the house is certainly at Christmas. And a couple more things in this room that I love so much. One of my favorite Christmas gifts I've ever received is this clock in the corner. About 3 years ago, Brian actually got me one of my dream pieces. I love to collect Gustavian antique pieces from Sweden. And this is a Swedish Mora clock. It's all original, had all the original features in it. He actually bought it from a dealer in England and worked with her to get it shipped over here for me for Christmas. And it's certainly one of my absolute favorite pieces in the house. And then just on either side of this English chest, you'll see a couple of portraits I found online at an auction in New York. These are a couple of Austrian, they were court members of the court from the late 1700s. It wasn't the king or queen or anything like that, but it was just a couple of court members originally come from Austria. And I ended up in an estate up in New York, and I was lucky enough to get those off at an auction. So as you can tell, I'm very traditional. I love antiques. I love old paintings. I don't mix a lot of contemporary pieces in. I just love so many traditional pieces. But I wanted to bring you in and just give you an insight into kind of what the inside of the house looks like. We're actually going to be doing a lot more remodeling coming up, hopefully in the future. We're actually going to be putting in all new hardwood flooring throughout the house. We're going to remodel the kitchen, the master bathroom. So hopefully as we continue to film, we'll start to get more inside. You'll see a little bit more as some of those projects come to life. But for now, this is your peek. This is as far as you're getting. You're going to get to see a little bit of the living room space, because everything else in the house with getting out Christmas and doing all this filming outside, it really turns everything upside down. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this peek, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And I thank you so much for following along this last year. It's been a great year. We're hoping to really ramp up more videos this next year. I'm hoping to actually kind of partner with a couple of companies. So we're looking forward to an exciting 2025. And remember, if you liked this video, be sure to subscribe, like, and follow me, the Preppy Gardener. And I'll look forward to seeing you in 2025.
Ho, ho, ho!